So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. Welcome to those who have been following Management Through Movies for a while and been with us for every session. And all those who've come for the first time, welcome. Management Through Movies is an initiative by Square Sequel Consulting. And back when the lockdown started, we tried to do as much as we could to educate or to give tools of learning to people in the learning fraternity. And we all thought that in trainings, when the programs are happening, we always give anecdotes and examples of play movie clips. So we decided, why not do it exclusively, where we are giving teachings, we're giving tools to all of us in the fraternity to find out what each movie gives us management lessons. And this is our initiative. Over to you, Jim.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Zoya. And welcome, everyone. Like every time, straight away, let's get into the discussions on what the movie is all about. Our agenda would be, we'll talk about the storyline, brief of what the movie is all about, what's our perspective, and then we'll have an open house, Q&A, right? And as Zoya said, thank you, everybody who took time out today to be in this session. Like last time, we're going to repeat that the recording of this will be made available on our YouTube channel. In case if you wish to refer to it or you want to share it with others, feel free to do so. You can share the link. Now, what is the movie all about? Now, movie is all about a gentleman called Frank Lucas. Now, he's an African American, and he is following his employer and mentor, Bumpy Johnson. Now, who is Bumpy Johnson? Bumpy Johnson was established, I would say, in the eyes of others, he was gangster, but in the eyes of people, he was God of Harlem in the suburbs of New York, right? And what Frank Lucas did when Bumpy died, he took over his role. He actually took his place, and he started getting the heroin directly from the source in the Southeast Asia. And he really came up with a very innovative way of getting the drugs into the United States. This is the time when the Vietnam War was on. And we'll talk about the way he got the drugs into the United States. And as a result, since he was getting it from the source, it was not diluted. Otherwise, majority of the heroin which was made available in the streets of New York at that point of time was very diluted. So he gave a better quality at a much cheaper price, right? And at the same time, he also established beautiful alliance with the New York Mafia. So he at one point of time was perceived as above the Mafia. And according to the facts which are presented in the movie, at one point of time in the New York Police Department, specifically for the narcotics cell, 2/3 of the policemen were actually on his rolls, which means he used to take care of them. And it would not be fair if we don't talk about the policeman who actually brought him down, Richie Roberts. He was heading the Joint Narcotics Task Force by the federal government, who actually caught Frank Lucas. So the movie is being streamed on Netflix. So if you have not seen, do take time out. It's going to be a good watch for you. Not that we are recommending this, but yes, it's going to be a good watch in case if you wish to. Now, there are plenty of lessons in this movie. And I think one of the lessons which straight away comes in is that the mentor matters. You know, for Frank Lucas, who was just a driver of Bumpy, 15 years he was with, day in and day out, he was with Bumpy Johnson. And it goes without saying that if you spend that kind of a time with someone, you actually learn, formally or informally. So when Bumpy suffered a heart attack, Frank vowed to continue what his mentor has started. There are a couple of scenes in the movie wherein you will see that Bumpy is actually sharing food, wealth with a lot of people, a lot of underprivileged people, especially Black people in Harlem. And when you talk of a mentor, the way I look at it is, now you choose a mentor, right? Nobody will walk up to you and say, you know what, I will be your mentor. It's the other way around. You actually walk up to somebody and say, you know what, I admire what you do, and could you mentor me? Now, mentor can come from anywhere. It could be your colleague, your coworker, neighbor, anybody, right? What you do is you just uh, learn from what they are doing. Now, mentoring, if you see, it could be direct or it could be indirect. I'm just giving an example of Eklavya as well. He also made Dronacharya his mentor, even though there was no formal training, but he walked up to him and said, you know what, this is what I want to learn from you. So mentors matter. That's the first thing. And I'm sure in our lives, if we look back, each one of us, there are a lot of things our mentors have taught us. And there are a lot of things whom we as mentors are also teaching others. So the first lesson, or the first takeaway from this is mentor matters. Second is, what I really admired in Frank Lucas was the exploring the possibilities. He did not get into the typical gang war type, killing people so that he can establish his supremacy. But instead of that, what he did, he actually controlled everything from the top. He tried to understand what is the source of this heroin, this drug which is coming. He eliminated the middlemen, went to Vietnam, went to Hong Kong, went to Bangkok, and met the another journal. You can see that in the image. The person who was actually doing the opium farming. He sourced the heroin directly from him, and his transport used to happen from American Air Force planes, because a lot of people will come because Vietnam War was on. A lot of in and out of the cargo planes used to happen. So he had some arrangement with some of the majors in the in the Marines, and he ensured that he was able to get the supply through that channel. I think the way I look at this is, uh, maybe from being an entrepreneur or maybe being an entrepreneur in an organization, how is it that we can challenge the status quo? How is it that we can challenge the way things are? How is it that we can explore the possibilities? Sometimes things are not very obvious, right? How can we go beyond them? How can we not fall just the path which is already taken, right? Then the another interesting thing was, he always said that, you know what, I am not just selling heroin, I'm creating a brand. Yeah, and he actually named it as Blue Magic, which was available in small blue colored pouches, which generally was available in the white color pouches earlier, right? And the reason why the name came to be a Blue Magic was because during the testing phase, this powder will actually turn into blue because of the purity. It was double the potency of what was available in the market at that point of time, right? So he wanted to establish that. He wanted to establish the identity. Um, and over here, you know, in the hindsight, if I look at who are we, what is our identity, how is it that we are establishing ourselves, how is it that we are creating a distinction between who I am and who others are. How am I saying that, look, this is who I am, this is what my identity is? Yeah, am I saying that, am I leaving enough kind of a footprint on, or on somebody's mind, that when they come to know this is what it is, they can say, yes, this is what this person is, or, oh no, this person cannot be like this because I know them so well. So what is the kind of identity we are creating for each one of us? Third one, which moving forward from here, is never dilute a brand. Now, when he started to create this Blue Magic, one of his sellers actually started diluting it. And there's a complete conversation in the movie wherein Frank Lucas actually said, you know what, you should not do this because I am the Pepsi of the heroines. I'm a brand. I guarantee the quality. I am standing behind it, and you should not dilute it. And there are instances, the moment you start to dilute the brand, the customers go away, because there's always a compromise on the quality. There's always a compromise on what is the promise, or what is the brand promise, so to say, right? And then, typically, if you see, there is a mention in the trailer as well, the very short trailer, it spoke about honesty, integrity, hard work, family. Now, a apart from all this, he said that let us not forget where we have come from. So he called all his family members, his brothers, his cousins. They used to take care of his business. Of course, it was easier for him to manage the show. It was easier for him to ensure that they are taken care of, and the trust issues are also taken care of. Now, another important part was he was also mentoring his brothers. There's a mention in the movie that there's a beautiful dialogue which says, the one who is the loudest is the most weakest. Sorry. So the one who is the most loudest is the most weakest. And so in a way, and the way it came from was when they got money, one of his brothers actually dressed up in such a fashion that he was standing out of the crowd and he was wearing expensive clothes. He actually dressed him down and said, you know what, if you continue like this, it's actually a message to the feds, which says, please come and arrest me. Right. So how do you ensure that, you are taking care of others, never forgetting your roots? At the same time, to establish himself as a leader, he had to take some bold, audacious moves. Now, one of it was walking right into the streets and killing someone. It's not that we are propagating it, but what we're talking about here is, since it's a gangster movie, that scene was there. Otherwise, ask yourself, what is that bold, audacious move which you could do, which will make you a leader, which will make you somebody from who you are. Right. Now, this is what I just said. The loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room. So a great line, and so applicable to the marketing, where the loudest advertiser in the room probably has the weakest product in the room. Sometimes, and there are a lot of sayings which talks about it, that one who are doers are one who actually talk less. Frank Lucas always wanted to play safe. When I play safe, he wanted to lay low. He never wanted to come into the eyes of anybody with his flying out lifestyle, no expensive cars, no flashy dresses, right? No clubbing, no flashy lifestyle. So and probably this is something which we can also learn from him, in terms of, even though when he actually got caught in the year 1971, if I talk about $250 million worth of property was seized. Imagine $250 million of 1975 would be how much now, right? Now, this is extremely powerful lesson. Quitting while you are ahead is not the same as quitting. If you see, and this is something which was told to him by this Chinese general, when the Vietnam War stopped, and there would be no transport of American planes into the Vietnam and through the Southeast Asia. Frank actually took a trip, one last trip, to get a large quantity of heroin to be transported. Now, this is that conversation wherein this gentleman said, quitting while you're ahead is not the same as you quitting. Now, a lot of times when people set up their work, their business, a lot of times they scale up, but they don't know why they are doing what they're doing. Similarly, over here, Frank probably somewhere did not know when to quit, and he was eventually arrested. Otherwise, everything was going the way he had planned it. And he was convicted for 70 years into the prison. Imagine, 70 years into the prison. However, because of his cooperation with the government, and that the cooperation means he actually told the government who all were on his payrolls. And that's where they came to know almost 2/3 of the police force were on his payrolls, right? And based on that, government reduced his sentence from 70 to 15 years. And as the story goes, that by the time, unfortunately, he's no more now. And by the time he died, he had become good friends with the policeman, Richie, who had actually arrested him. But going back to the statement, quitting while you're ahead is not the same as quitting. Know why you're doing what you're doing. You should know where to draw the line. You should know what is the purpose of whatever you're doing, right? Because if that is not clear, we'll keep on moving. And sometimes we may get into a direction which may not be something which is, you are required to be in. And it would not be fair, as I said, if I don't talk about the learnings from this police officer who was played by Russell Crowe, Richie Roberts. he actually got $1 million unaccounted cash, which he could have easily kept. However, he did not keep it. He actually went to the government and deposited the money over there. Everybody was surprised. He had a single-handed, single-minded pursuit that I need to go and catch hold of Frank Lucas. Now, when he actually caught Frank, and there's a conversation which is shown, Frank offered him another $1 million. He said last time probably it was a different move, but right now it's a different time altogether. I can still give you that $1 million. Let me go. He did not fell for it. There, he was also threatened, but how he did not give up. The courage, the bravery, what he exhibited is absolutely exemplary in the movie. Yeah, and so this is what I thought I'll probably talk about today. Going back, know where your roots are. The one who is the loudest is the one who is the most weakest. Don't dilute a brand. Identify, ask yourself, what is your identity? Why do people know you? And what are the leadership ways in which you could establish yourself as a leader? And last but not the least, the mentor matters. Now, if you want, we can have a quick open house and we'll move forward from here. Thoughts, comments, questions?
Yeah, so may I talk?
Sure, go ahead.
So the thing I noticed when you're talking about was, the collaboration he did with his family. So you could say he was with his team. He included everyone, and delegated some work to them. While he did also, one of his brother was kind of showing off. He also said that not only you're not the only one you're working, so do not make that kind of noise that it disturbs also the others.
Yes.
Because of that particular brother, the whole operation could also go down.
Absolutely. And I think just to add to what Aman has said very beautifully, he has put it across. He also ensured that everybody was treated equally. He said, whether you are my brother or not, right? But if I have to tell you this, anybody for that matter would have done it, I would have told the same thing. So that was something very nice. And just one sentence is there: if you had not been my brother, I would have killed you. Yeah. But yes, he took care of his family, and he straight away said, never forget where your roots are, where you come from. I think that's quite powerful. Thanks for that, Aman. Sorry.
Please go ahead. I'll come in after you.
No. I'll request you to please. I insist.
Okay. So what caught my attention, Jimmy, was the phrase where you said the weakest is the most loudest. Yeah. I mean, in this day, I don't know the context because I haven't really watched the movie. From what you said and what I gathered is essentially, like we say, empty vessels make more sound. Yeah. I think personally for me, I feel we are in this ecosystem where social media and so many other things. So how much is too much? Number one. Second, also whilst you're focusing on all of that, your core brand values and your brand image is very important. So you don't want to kind of go all out and say things, proclaim a lot of things, and not be able to kind of deliver. And being able to draw that balance is very important.
Absolutely, Sheila. I will take the liberty to mention this as well. Some amount of conversation on the same thing had happened between me and Arvind Ji. He's also on the call here. And if you are good, if you are doing something, we don't have to go and tell people that this is what we are, this is what we did. The work will speak for itself. I don't have to walk up to people and say, hey, Sheila, hey, Rajesh, hey, Arvind, this is what I have done. So please like this, comment, or do what you're, typically I talk about the social media. Yeah. But somewhere, somehow, it's become the norm, but it's up to us. How much of it we want to, do, and how much we want to, stay away from. And that's where you rightly said, Sheila, we need to keep a balance to this entire thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk for myself. Sometimes I think it's easier said than done, right? You write and then you're like, "Arey, 4-5 like hi aaya hai. What's happening?" You get so early on. Then you're like, I had to kind of draw back and say, if I'm writing, yes, I'm of course writing, needless to say, to gain visibility, to get myself. Let me not shy away, but is that the only reason? Otherwise, and then I stopped really, looking at, what's the kind of likes, comments, and really chasing that. I think that is what stands out for me.
Absolutely. I think what you said is very true. I think that is most of us get into that trap. I
And also
posted
this, yeah, I see that, I see in a lot of other forums also. I mean, when even so sometimes when you read those comments, even not yours, I'm just when I say I'm talking not of my own articles or anything. Some of the comments that you see, something you feel sometimes when you read, you feel this is forcibly written. The person is just saying it for the heck of saying it.
Yeah.
When you dwell deeper, that's one. And in the corporate scenario, I think this जो दिखता है वही बिकता है visibility game. Sometimes I think we do an overkill,
Absolutely.
the urge to push yourself, make a point in the meeting. Are 3 meetings you've not spoken, you are you're going to jeopardize your stakes in the organization. Kuch bolo. I think, sometimes we just overdo the anxiety to make yourself visible, to make yourself loud, to make yourself heard. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think what you've said is very, very meaningful, especially in the times we are in today. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that out, Sheila.
This brings out very relevant examples, especially from the field of cricket. Many times I have seen someone hitting a century, and after hitting a century, he points out to his bat and says, "My bat speaks for me.
Yeah.
I don't need to answer anyone."
Absolutely.
Right.
So that's where,
yes, my work talks. So I really find that be courageous and bold very relevant to me, especially because yesterday only, while I was doing a session for Godrej, I was doing it for the top 6 people who were selected for being into the management part, into the strategic part, and it was started by the national sales head. And after starting, he said so many things which he also believes and I also believe. So after the session was over, so I thought, I want to meet the national sales head. So all the people in the HR and said, so sir, he's very, and all those kind of things. They most of the people have got some kind of an aura. He said, "वो busy बहुत है और नहीं मिल पाएंगे," and he's very tight and all. हमने tell him that there's someone, the trainer, Mr. Mishra, wants to meet because he believes in what he believes. Just tell him this statement. And after half an hour, she came and said, yes, he wants to see you. And I met her, and the time slot was 15 minutes. We spoke for approximately 30 minutes. And that was a very fruitful conversation. And I didn't find him any way close to the aura which was being shown to me about him. So I was courageous, I was bold. And we had a great conversation.
Very nice. I'm so glad to hear that, Navinji. Thank you.
And that is strength number 5, self-belief.
Lovely.
Self-assurance.
Fantastic. Great. Thanks for sharing that. Rajesh, do you want to say anything? Shreya, Aman, otherwise.
I'm working on your 50% formula.
Fantastic. I'm so glad, sir. I hope it is helping you.
Thank you. Yes, helping me.
Very nice. Sheila, just to add to, maybe you must be wondering what conversation we are having right now. We all had attended an in-person retreat on designing an exceptionally amazing life. So Rajesh ji was there, Arvind ji was there, Aman was also there. And over here we had also, this context is coming from there.
Okay. No, I'm a part of your batch, which is happening last Sunday onwards.
Oh, you're there. Okay. So we have one coming up tomorrow. So what we did for so Arvind, Rajesh ji, Aman, they were all in the batch 1, and then they said that we must meet up, in person. So we had this retreat in Goa. So, nice. Yeah. So look forward to meeting you tomorrow again.
Oh, sure.
Yes, thank you, Vishal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rajesh ji.
Namaskar from North.
Bye.